Talking Music with Big Andy. On this week's show, Laurie Bravo is talking music with me, Big Andy. Welcome to the podcast. This week I have the pleasure of talking to Laurie Bravo, who you may well know as the lead singer with Nuclear Death.
And bass player.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And also has their own band, Laurie Bravo Raped, and has done solo, got a solo project as well.
Yep, 22 years.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm good. How are you? I am considering, we're good right now. We're pre-hurricane weather here in New Orleans, so we're good. Well, you know.
Oh, that's cool.
It is.
So, I mean, you've been around for a while.
56 years as of Monday.
Wow.
I know, right?
Yeah. I mean, doing the music thing has been a big part of your life.
Since I was 9. Well, ever since I was born, but say 1985 is when I started Nuclear Death. So let's go with that. Professionally since 1985.
Yeah, it's cool. That's cool. So Nuclear Death were kind of pioneers in a way. We were
very much pioneers.
One of the first, if not the first, sort of death metal bands, and it kind of it was a brand new sound, a brand new sort of feel for the sort of music and that sort of thing. Was it difficult to get going at the time? Was it difficult to get people?
No, because get people. Well, let's put it this way. First of all, there was no such thing as those terms. So when we came out, we were making music that had not been titled or did not have a label at all. We were making what we wanted to hear. That's it. Yeah. So the cool thing is that then we were lumped in with, at the time, thrash metal and sometimes hardcore. But the whole thing is there was no such thing as death metal or anything yet that had not been coined. So we didn't know what we were doing. We were doing nuclear death music, or I used to call it horror music, or we would call it horror music, because it was just writing horror stories and putting music behind it. It was like the idea was to make little mini movies that are audio or they're auditory. So you're going to tell a story and then you're going to put music like a soundtrack. And that's the whole thing of Nuclear Death. That's what we were always trying to do or whatever. So when we were lumped in with all this other stuff, it's kind of funny because it was like, so if you listen to Nuclear Death, still nobody sounds like we do. I'm surprised that people haven't tried to copy us, but maybe they just don't know how. I'm not really sure, but we don't sound, nobody sounds like us still. No. They really, really don't. And they also don't have me. And that's a big key factor because you have to have me singing for it to be Nuclear Death. Otherwise it's not Nuclear Death. So there's that too. But even without that, I'm just saying, like, musically, without the voice, it's just it's a cut above. Like it's like how Brian Wilson described Pet Sounds as opposed to Sgt. Pepper's, which both are incredibly genius albums. But his idea was he wanted to make it, as he said, an album with more musical merit. Well, Nuclear Death had more musical merit than the people around us. We were better musicians and writers, I think.
Yeah. No, I
so it wasn't hard to get going because, like I said, we were our own fans, so we didn't really give a shit if people liked us. That also helped because we didn't care. We only cared if we liked it. So it was like, if we like it, cool. If you don't like it, fuck you. We don't care because we like it. Because it was all for us. Like, I was never, I never thought this would be a legacy at all. It's like, I'm a real singer and a musician and artist and all this. So this was something that I felt I needed to do, but I never looked at it like it was going to be something that I would be known for until way later in the game. And then when we started cultivating this whole thing, this image and the characters and villainize artwork and all the other stuff that makes up Nuclear Death. And that's the other thing too, is we did everything. We didn't pay other people to do artwork. I mean, everything was done within the band. And I think that was really cool. That kind of helped keep it like insular and very like personal.
Yeah, yeah. No, I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah.
So you originally from Arizona?
No, I'm from Chicago, actually.
Oh, okay.
I was born there, but unfortunately, no, I shouldn't say unfortunately. I'm an Army brat, so we moved around a lot. I lived in Germany as a kid, which, you know, I don't really remember. I was a baby. And then my dad got stationed in Washington State, which I loved. And then my brother was born there. And then we moved to Arizona. And I was basically raised in Arizona. So yeah, that's where I mainly was raised. But I'm definitely, I was not born there. But yeah, I would say I'm from the Arizona desert. Yeah, absolutely. Because that's kind of where, that's where it all happened. If it weren't for the evil that is the Arizona desert, I don't think Nuclear Death could have been. We didn't have there was nothing to do. You either smoke pot, go to keggers, or get in a band, or all three. You know, so you're not bored. You know, it's very cultureless there, and boring and arid and hot and fucked up. So, and you know, like when people get snowed in during their winter, we get what I call sunned in during the summer. You just don't want to go out. You're just dying. So you got to do something. So you might as well sit and play with your friends and, you know, make some music up.
No, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you now live in New Orleans, and
yes, I do. As of a year now.
I was going to say that must be a big difference.
Well, the thing is my brother, let's see what year, today's 22. Okay, so in 2019, I went and visited my brother. I had not seen him in 12 years, and he had moved to New Orleans a while back. And so I finally got to visit him. He had separated from his wife, and we were finally talking again, and it was really nice. And so I came to visit him. And when I got off the plane, I started crying. Now, I didn't even see him. Like, he wasn't there or nothing. It was just, I felt like I just came off the plane. I'm like, oh my God, I'm home. Oh my God, this is where I live. Oh, okay. I'm supposed to live here. And I've always said I'd never live in the South. It'd be too humid. But I walked off the plane, and it was like I knew I was home. For some reason, I felt like I'm supposed to live here, I think. And then I was there for 5 days, and he took me, and we did the tourist things, sort of like, you know, we did Bourbon Street and the French Quarter and all that stuff. But we also just hung out and lived and watched movies at his house. And we had to get laundry done, just boring things that would make it where if you're overly enchanted from the idea of New Orleans, there was a lot of downtown. So I knew. And when I got on the plane 5 days later, I thought to myself, what am I going to do? I've got 9 cats. And my mom, we didn't want to stay in Arizona anyway, because my mom had a really expensive mortgage with our 2-story house that we were trying to get out from under, but it was just like, you know, so it wasn't like she didn't want to move or sell, but I thought, would she do that? I don't know. And I thought, how am I going to tell her I have to move to New Orleans? And I have no idea how I'm going to do it. And I got off the plane, and I got home that night, and I said, Mom, I think I need to move to New Orleans. And she said, let's do it. And that's it. I mean, that was that quick. And we would have moved in 2020 if it weren't for Corona. Yeah. So we had an extra year, and then that was it. Then we moved as of March 1st, Mardi Gras. We've lived here a year. And we have our own house. This is my house. She and I got this house. So there's no mortgage. And we went from a 2,600 square foot 2-story to this 1,200 square foot little bitty cottage, and it's outside of New Orleans in Kenner, but it's the safer bet. Basically, my brother really wouldn't let us live in New Orleans. He's like, you know, he was like, no fucking way. I was my sister and my mom living right in the city there. He's like, no way. He's like, it's right there. It's like 15 minutes from your house. Just no. And it's very dangerous. So I get it, but you know, it'd still be cool, but I get what he means. And it's right there. You know, it's like, everybody here says you live in New Orleans. You never say you live in Kenner, or you live in Madero, or you live in wherever else, or you don't, you live in New Orleans. That's just what you say.
Yeah.
And nobody begrudges the fact that you're a couple steps away from the actual city. So, but yeah, the thing about here is it's the only place I've ever been where people actually support their artists no matter what. You tell someone you do something as an artist, and they're like, oh, what do you sing? What do you play? and they're really interested and they want to help you. Like there's not any rivalry. There is, but not really. It's like people want to help you here. They want
Yeah.
you to succeed. They want you
Yeah.
to be woven in the fabric of New Orleans. And also jazz is my favorite music ever. And my father used to play jazz. So, I mean, he played trumpet in a jazz, in a jazz ensemble in Chicago back before he was in the army. And so jazz is really close to my heart. And this is the birthplace of jazz. So what else could I ask for? You know, it's the greatest city in the world for music, but one of them definitely, I think. So
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's got such a musical legacy, that place.
Yes.
So it's always been a place where artistic people and creative people kind of gather and work together. And that's the thing about it. They work together. They don't. It's not just a matter of you play there, and that sort of thing. That people,
and it's okay.
Yeah,
you know, it's okay to be different. It's not. It's expected, actually. You know, it's like they don't. Here, it's like it's kind of what I wanted in LA. I tried to move to LA for the very same thing. I tried thinking, okay, I'm a freak. That's a perfect place for me to go, is to go live in LA, live in Hollywood. So I did that for 4 years, and it didn't work. It didn't hit. Everybody was very phony there, very fake. I never did really. I found one friend. I really couldn't find my niche. I was living with two friends of mine, and my niche just wasn't there. It was just a miserable constant. I didn't drive then either. I didn't know how to drive. So it was really hard. Public transportation is kind of weird there. And I just got sucked in completely. I went to school there for a little bit, and to learn audio, kind of to like make a record and learn kind of some computer stuff or whatever. But Musicians Institute, which really wasn't that great of a thing to do. But anyway, I had just ended up coming home addicted to crystal meth, glass at that time, because that was introduced at that time in the area, the early 2000s, to that region. So right before Breaking Bad kind of stuff. And yeah, and that was like I came home an addict, and I came home not just completely destitute, just was not for me. It didn't do what I thought it was going to do. I thought I was going to come there and find my bandmates and my family and my friends, and I didn't find anything. But it's a lot of sadness and lots of starvation and lots of no money and just horrible. And then yeah, so just it wasn't supposed to be for me. And I thought, so I waited and waited, because I've never felt at home, like ever since we moved from Washington State. I felt very at home there when I was a child. And then we moved, and although Arizona had my grandparents and stuff, that's one of the reasons we moved there, and that was great. I never felt at home there. I felt very connected to the earth and the Native American culture because my grandparents were, but other than that, I didn't feel connected at all. I'd never felt like Arizona, I'm so proud to be from Arizona. It was like, no, not really. So here, like, as soon as you say you're from New Orleans, people are like, oh, okay. And then you're just totally cool already, no matter what. So it's like, oh, you're from New Orleans. Oh, well, okay. Then you're cool as hell. And then I survived Hurricane Ida without realizing that was going to be my Katrina. But the last year I ended up, as surviving Ida, and having to be alone for my first hurricane in the house by myself, because my mom ended up falling that night, going into the hospital, and I ended up evacing for my first year there. So I'm a true New Orleanian. I've been through my own hurricane, and it was terrifying, and wow, it was intense, since I documented the whole thing from the house. But yeah, the good thing is I document everything, so that helps, because it helped me to get through the fact that it was just so scary. Oh my God. It was the most terrifying thing. I mean, that's one thing about living here, is being governed by the weather. Everything is governed by the weather in New Orleans. That's one thing you have to know.
Yeah.
Mother Nature.
What it'd be like to be locked in your house in the middle of a hurricane. That's
Yeah, it was. And I had a dying cat with me. One of my cats was dying. I thought he was going to die that night. He didn't, thank goodness. But he was in the middle of dying, and it was like he had heart disease, my husband, Fonte. And then we ended up evacuating 4 days later, because my mom was in the hospital. My brother evacuated us to Mississippi, so that we would have power, because one of the big main lines fell into the river, which shouldn't happen. And so we were without power and water, and it was evil. It's deathly hot, suffocating heat, and we had to get out. And so we evac for 10 days, had a really nice time in Mississippi, and then came back. And then day we came back, Fonte died. It's like he waited to die until he got back, and then he died. And I thought, all right, he died in the middle of listening to the new Iron Maiden, and he's British, so I thought that was a cool way for him to go.
Fair enough. That's fair.
Yeah.
So, you started the other band, Raped. Or
Yeah,
was that-
Raped was first.
Yeah. And what prompted you to start that, to do that?
Because I was. And
Oh, right.
One of the things I love hip hop and rap. And one of the things that I love about it is how they took the N word back and they made it their own.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take the R word back and make it my own. I thought, okay, if this is going to happen to me, and it did, it actually happened 2 times in a row. Once from a stranger at a club where I didn't know the person. Second was a person I knew's boyfriend while I was drunk, passed out at his house. So that showed me maybe I shouldn't be getting drunk though like that. But you know, I didn't blame myself for a long time. But anyway, regardless of that, I decided that why isn't there a band called Raped? Well, I'm going to name my band Raped, and it's going to be women, no men. So I had my friend Jessie play drums. She's a drummer. And well, was my friend. She recently just dumped me in an email. I don't know why. But anyway, so she and I formed it and then had her play drums. We decided we didn't want anybody else in the band. It was just guitar and drums. I didn't want another person. I tried out a couple bass players, but it just didn't work out. And I'm very, very, I'm a really quick learner. I learn everything by ear. So if you can't learn as fast as I do, I have no patience and you got to go. So it's taking too long to teach something. I'm like, I should be able to play it. You play it and just shut up and let's play. And I would have these bass players and then they would, you know, I'd be like, okay, you're taking another week to learn like 3 songs. So forget it, goodbye. Yeah. So I finally realized it just needs to be a duo. And then another friend of mine that I actually met her through, he's a young gun that I met. He's like 18 years younger than me. I met him and he and I just clicked mentally. He's gay and just a really cool friend to have, a new friend. He was opening my eyes. He taught me how to use a computer. He taught me that I needed to have a MySpace. He taught me that nuclear death was online. I thought, what? How would anybody even know? I had no idea that we were still being known. Or I thought everybody hated us. It didn't care and didn't know anything. Nobody had bought our records in years. So I thought, who cares? But that's not true. It just, I didn't know. So anyway, with him, he was like, you know, your name carries weight. And I said, he's like, you ought to use it in your name. He's like put like Lori Bravo's rape. I said, no, wait, like News at 11, like Lori Bravo raped, News at 11. I thought that's perfect. Lori Bravo raped. And then that's when I started calling it my full name.
Yeah.
And I did that for 17 years. And then I decided after 17 years it was time to dissolve that idea that I had kind of worked through it. And I become a better songwriter anyway in all that time. So because Harmony Drinks Me, the last Nuclear Death album is almost all me. Like Steve did play on it, of course, and he did write the song Shoot, but all the rest of the songs are the songs I wrote myself, like all by myself. So, you know, it's like I was already developing as a songwriter even then, but I got really good after playing in the different versions, you know, and I had to go through my things. Like with Raped, I was listening, that girl Jessie had turned me on to girl music. I hadn't been listening to music with women in years. I wasn't allowed. Phil wouldn't let me listen to anything with women in it. So I didn't know anything about Hole and Babes in Toyland and Sleater Kinney and all these cool Riot Girl bands and all this shit. I had no idea about any of that. So that influenced me with those songs that I wrote that are on I Marry the Devil. You can hear a lot of that, more of that kind of aggressive influence, and me taking back my femininity with that album. But then with the EP, When the Sun Dies, that was actually, I titled it after my friend that I lived with, Dalton. Like I said, he's 18 years younger than me. And he wrote a poem called When the Sun Dies, and I thought it was really cool. So I decided to call the EP When the Sun Dies. And that was written when I was in the throes of addiction and I was trying to get out of it. And so I was writing about, there was a lot of death going on in my family. My dad had died. I had cats that had died on me within days of each other. There was all kinds of death going on. And then the death of myself by being an addict. Yeah. So all of that came out in that EP. That's the addiction EP, if you will. And then that was the last time I used the Raped moniker, if I remember correctly. I think that was the last time I decided. I mean, it was 2017 when I dissolved that, but still it was like, okay, I thought, you know, I don't want to say this anymore because I don't feel like that person anymore. Like I just feel like Lori Bravo, you know?
And so since then you've been pretty much just solo stuff.
Yeah, Lori Bravo, because to me, that name is everything. Like Lori Bravo, everybody knows, well, not everybody, but you know what I mean? Like you put it in to Google, you'll find me. I'm right there. Like I love doing that with people. I'm like, just Google me. I'll say, just
Yeah,
Google me. I don't need a, you got a card? I'm like, just Google me. And then that way I don't have to explain the different tiers of Lori Bravo, because there's many. And it's like, I don't want to explain all this to you. It's like, so if I do that, and then if you're into it, then they can go and follow me on every fucking platform that ever existed, because I'm on everything except TikTok, because I'm a little bit, not too cool for that. But well, not yet. And I'm just saying, like, that's the new kid shit. And I'm not there yet or whatever to do TikTok videos. But anyway, yeah. So but yeah, Lori Bravo, just me, has been in existence, for since 2017 proper, if you will. That's when I decided to just do that.
I was interested because I listened to this stuff. I listened to some the nuclear death stuff. I listened to some of the rape stuff, and I listened to some of the solo stuff and that sort of thing. And I was very interested to find a video that somebody had put together on YouTube, which is called Voice Evolution.
Yeah, that's a friend of mine did that. Wasn't that cool? Some fan really did
cool,
that
because it shows how your voice and your vocal style has changed over the years.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not really changed. It's just people don't realize that. I'm positive I coined this phrase, but I'm known as the woman of 1,000 voices for a reason. Right. People just don't realize that. They always think it's one. I'm never a one-trick pony. You can even hear it in Nuclear Death. I don't sound the same. The Carry On, yeah, I kind of do. And that's because I have that 102-degree temperature everybody knows about. And I was absolutely sick during the entire recording of that album. So I had the horrible flu, and I really didn't have a lot of my voice, which is why I hate that album, among other reasons, including the production. But regardless, the songs are great. But that's why, because I didn't have, but the rest of there's always been later. I mean, I'm also a good mimic. I can sound like almost about 90% anyone you put it in front of me, and I can probably sing like them. So there's that. Like I can sit here. I was just rapping with MWA the other night, singing with Eazy-E. I was singing with Eazy-E one, and then the very next moment I'm singing with Sharon Van Etten, who's so different than Eazy-E. Yeah. And then I'm over there singing with Rufus Wainwright. So that's just, it's just being a good mimic, having a good ear. And then and then of course right now I'm studying the music of Jeff Buckley, and he and I have a very similar voice tonality. I thought, my God, I really wish that he would be alive, because I would love to sing with him, but I sing with them anyway. And then Lingua Ignota, Kristen Hayter, I love her work, and she is another one that she's alive, and we actually talk on Twitter, and I definitely would like to record or sing with her, because she and I again have very good, our voices would blend fantastically, I think. Yeah. So that's a good one. But yeah, it's the evolution thing was really cool, because he didn't realize the capacity of my voice until he heard my new album. And then he's like, oh, okay. And I was like, yeah, that it's like that, it's like, there's so many different things that I can do with my voice. It's not even, it's a gift. It's a gift. Definitely is something I don't work at all. The guitar is something I work at. The voice just happens, luckily.
But it's very easy, I think, especially in rock and metal. It's very easy for people to get kind of pigeonholed into a style where everyone expects them always to sound like that, and always to.
They get mad, yeah. They got mad. They get mad. But you know what? That's too bad. I mean, my favorite musician ever is Miles Davis, and I will not. I'm just like him. I will not back down. I will never make the same album twice. And that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to consistently move music along the way I see fit to where I am in my life. Like Hurricane Ida fucked me up. I have PTSD because of it. And then a bunch of my cats died during the COVID year, not because of COVID, but we lost like 4 cats and our family dog before we ever moved within a year, all to horrible diseases. It was just, I thought it was cursed, but what I'm saying is that really fueled this last record. But not Hurricane Ida, but this record, I'm a lot more, whatever I make next is going to be a lot angrier, because I am angry. I just got dumped by 2 of my oldest friends for no apparent reason other than they're, I don't know, jealous. I mean, I've known the one since I was 12 and the other one since for like 28 years. And suddenly they've decided that they don't want anything to do with me. And I thought, oh, okay, so I get a little success finally, and I'm finally getting an album out on a record label, and now you don't want to talk to me anymore. Okay, that's fine. And one of them is a musician as well. that's been playing music in New York as a working musician for years. So I don't know what her problem is, but the other one has been jealous of me ever since we were kids, and I never wanted to admit it. So anyway, people like that I'm just over, like, people treating me like crap, because here, I don't know that many people here, but the people that I do know, that I don't know them well, because I tend not to have a lot of time for people, but they're always just so kind and giving, and like they really care about you. And that's the kind of people I want to surround myself with. And I thought, I don't want to be around people that one day they're nice to me, the next day they're being an asshole. And I mean, we're all in our, the one just turned 40, the other one's 57. Get real. Like, we're not 16-year-old people. Like, this isn't Mean Girls. Get over it. Like, whatever your problem is. And I'm kind of more like a guy too. I don't care. I'm not catty like that. I don't have time for it. Honestly, I just don't care. Like, it's like, all right, you want to be a jerk? Fine. Goodbye. And then moving on, because there'll be all these other people that are kind to me or cool, that, that treat me with respect that I deserve. And that's fine. Cause that's, me, it's all about respect. That's the thing with me. It's not about if you like me, it's that you respect me as an artist. That's, I think, what I didn't realize that I needed it this much until I started studying more rap music and realizing how much respect is so important in their genre. And I thought, that's kind of what I want, is it's the respect of my peers as musicians. It's not about if you like Lori Bravo, the person. I mean, it'd be nice to be liked, that's fine, but that's not what I'm going for. It's not a popularity contest. The fact that people still like Nuclear Death and they're very, they're all about it and everything is very touching to me. And I think that's what else could you ask for? It's like, it's totally cool. It's like, I'm not going to sit there and worry about it, and it's like, this just happened within like a couple months of each other. So it was just weird. My two oldest girlfriends. And I thought, oh, okay, I thought these people were going to be around me till we die. And then it's like, and it's girls always do this. Guys never do this to me. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It's girls. I don't get it. I've always wanted a girlfriend, but I always end up getting these girls for a girlfriend. A girlfriend isn't like, I'd like some more female energy. I've met some really lovely people here that are just starting to be girlfriends, but man, because the dudes, like, I don't usually get dumped by dudes. They're just, we might not talk, or I'll get like, Phil and Joel, I don't talk to them anymore. And I don't talk to Steve anymore either for several reasons. But the thing is they didn't dump me. It's like, we just, we're like, fuck you, well, fuck you, whatever. It's just typical stuff. Nothing stupid or underhanded or secretive or whatever girls do. I don't know. It's girly stuff I don't understand. It's like that male part of my personality doesn't understand it. It's like,
Yeah.
Tapping boys put on my cheekbone again, yeah. Been tapping boys put on my cheekbone, and then I've been hiding in my shoulders for years. Whip all my meds 'cause I kill all my tears.
When I was listening to your music and I was watching your videos, I really liked you've done some raw vocal videos.
Yes, I wanted to prove, well, first of all, I like the idea that I can sing. So the idea was, let's sing and you don't get to hear, because I don't want anybody to hear what I was doing. That was the whole thing. I thought, if anybody's listening to this, I want them, I want them to be surprised at what in the fuck I'm doing. Like, what am I singing to? So you can't really hear it. And I'm all about behind the scenes. John Lennon taught me that with Imagine, document everything. You want to be able to go back and look at this and go, whoa, look at that's my evolution. And also, since I was struck with silent reflux, which I had my whole life and didn't know, and I was on a liquid diet for 8 months, not only was I starving brain-wise, I was starving internally for real, physically. So you can see the transformation as it goes on and on. I'm getting skinnier and skinnier and skinnier and skinnier and skinnier. I mean, I lost like 65 pounds in 8 months last year, or no, 2 years ago. So, you can see all of that's happening too, because it took me 8 months to finish the record because I had to wait to sing for 8 months until my vocal cords healed. So that's why the last song, Diamond Heart, that's the clincher, because Diamond Heart is on the brand new vocal cords that had been nice and cleaned up and pink, and so the last song of the album.
That was one of the raw vocal videos that I really liked. I really loved.
Thank you. Well, it was kind of weird, huh?
Really great.
Thank you. I kind of thought it was kind of weird that I thought of that song, because see, I didn't know I was going to move to New Orleans when I wrote that at all. And suddenly that's like the perfect song to live here in the South. I mean, it's completely pulled right out of gospel.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was driving down the street. I saw this marquee for a church and it said, Jesus is a diamond. And I said, okay. So then I went and sat down in my car, and I always have my voice notes. And I said, Jesus is a diamond. My heart's a diamond. I said, my heart's a diamond. So I thought, so I sang the first verse into it immediately. I thought my, heart's a diamond. I was thinking of how I haven't had a boyfriend in like, well, now 22 years. So I thought maybe I'm not meant to be loved. So I thought, okay, my heart's a diamond, it cannot be broken. My heart's a diamond, cannot be loved. And then I just left it there. And then it was another almost a year before I finished writing the rest of it. A lot of those songs were finished in the studio, some of them were written right out, but like Suicide and Fentanyl, I think I had only one verse, the very first one. And then after that, everything there is completely just stream of consciousness. Like, I don't know what happened. I think Jim Morrison came to speak to me. And I also think Tori Amos came with him, and they just came in, and I just was like channeling who knows what. And so all of the rest of those are done right there in the studio. And almost every single thing you've heard is one take. Those are the takes I did or what you saw.
Yeah.
And they were also all done in order. Like, I didn't change the order. Those are all recorded exactly in order of the way I recorded it. So it's totally real. It's just real.
It's really interesting to see to see and hear a vocalist doing that kind of thing, showing the raw vocals, showing the kind of just the vocal lines and how they sort of work.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, I forgot, because I do this, just so you know, I do tend to, my brain works faster than my mouth does. So sometimes I forget what I'm talking about. But anyway, yes, that's about the John Lennon thing. It's that I've seen so much footage of bands where, and I mean, back in the day, these great artists where you get to see them in their element, writing and recording with the rock, like watching him and Yoko, and I think Phil Spector's working at their compound in England in the studio, and they're doing, I think at that time he was doing Oh Yoko, and he was having trouble with Oh Yoko. And not him, but he was having Phil Spector do the backing vocals, and John's getting all frustrated, like, no, it goes like this, oh Yoko, oh Yoko. And so, but that's the kind of stuff I wanted to do. I want it to be where you're hearing the mess ups, the fuck ups, the, oh, I flood the lines. Oh, I'm having a panic attack. I have to stop the thing, because I had a lot of panic attacks when I was writing this at first. I have panic disorder anyway. And I would go up there on a Saturday and I would just panic and panic and panic because, it's for real now. It's getting on, it's going to be real. Oh my God, and then I would come back down. The goal was to go up on Saturday afternoon, do the song, finish it, come down and play it for my mom, and then it's done. And almost all of the songs were written like that or recorded like that, except for maybe one or two where I actually had to go back up another time and finish it. But typically that was the goal. The goal was to make sure I go up and come back down with a finished product and play it for her, and then play it for the cats, and then that's it. Then be like, okay, next one, it'll be next Saturday. And then sometimes there'd be like 3 weeks where I wouldn't go up there because I just couldn't handle it or didn't want to do it or whatever. And then I would wait. And then I would finally be like, okay, get up there, get your ass up there and do another one. And, and it always seemed to be the right time when I did do it, and think, well, if I did it 2 weeks ago, it wouldn't have worked and I wouldn't have thought of this or whatever. So
Yeah.
But the idea was, it's something I would like to see and have seen with other artists, where you hear them just doing it on their own with no bullshit, no cuteness, no reverb, no something, no fancy bullshit, just them raw.
Yeah.
And or any musician for that matter, like anybody messing around. Like there's a fantastic documentary called The Loft, where this photographer was like a fly on the wall, and he had an apartment where it's like all these people would come, and just Thelonious Monk, and just all these, I think Stan Getz, and just all these different, maybe I think trying to think, I think Chet Baker, like all these people would come and play, like after they would do their gigs, they'd go over there and play like all day long and just stay up. And he shot everything. He shot all these famous musicians of the time, these geniuses working together in these fabulous black and white pictures. It's called The Loft. And I saw that. And again, that was another influence, because I thought, I like everything in black and white anyway. But I just thought to myself, yes, it's like, I want you to come in and look at it and go, this is real. Like, this is Lori sitting in her studio, in her home studio, making this album that I had no idea was going to end up the way it ended up at all, because I had a totally different idea when I went in there of what I was going to do. And then once I got in there, it changed, and I'm glad it changed, because it needed to be how it is. So I'm glad, but I'm just saying, what I thought in my head was completely different than what ended up happening. And what ended up happening actually is a lot better than what I had in my head, thank goodness. So,
I like some of the actual videos you've got, and I must say, Pink Moon, I think, is one of my favorite.
Yeah, that's the opener. That was the first song I ever wrote for the new record, actually.
I
knew that I was doing it.
It's a great song, and also I really
you.
like the video that you got for it as well. It works really well with the song.
I was practicing stuff. I thought it'd be kind of fun. Like, I just got my new iPhone, and I was just teaching myself, to use the video and to do editing, like really easy editing in iMovie and on my computer, because I'm a Mac girl. My brother was a Mac genius, so we're all Mac people who use Mac everything, and Apple everything. And so I thought, well, why don't I make a video for it? Because then when I made like the ones for the Songs of Silent Reflux with the lyric video, it was easier because I already kind of understood what I was doing. But it's just, it's just kind of like, I wanted people to understand what it's like to have panic disorder, or at least that's what I was trying to do. It's like, this is what it feels like for me. Like lyrically, it's what it feels like. And then mentally, the imagery of like me slapping myself, and it's like things I used to do, like anything just to make it stop, make it stop, please. It's weird. Ever since I've moved here, I really haven't experienced that kind of level of panic anymore, which is really, I don't know if it's because of the Big Easy or the fact that I'm just in a different, maybe because I really want to move here. I don't know, but I've had it my whole life, and I'm not medicated anymore. And it's just strange. I find it very strange that moving here, I can get really bad anxiety, but not like how I was in Arizona. It's like you might as, oh my God, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like if I was going to die like every 5 minutes, even though I know you aren't going to die. It's not that, it's just, you just, but anyway, yeah, thank you. I thought that was a really neat, it was just me trying to think of like a way to visualize. I was planning originally on making more videos for the songs, but shit happens, and I ended up doing more like live performances instead.
I mean, I think it's good to have it's a good mix you've got of live performances and videos and the raw stuff and that sort of thing, the background. So it's really good, really well. It works well with your material. The other videos I really liked. I like This Mouse.
Yeah, that was when I first came back from Silent Reflux. Now, Roma, my cat, one of my cats, had died during my birth month. And he died on the 11th, because we just celebrated his death anniversary. And then we had a funeral, because we always had a funeral. And I sang the Ave Maria when I was growing up and went to church. Every Christmas, they'd have me sing the Ave Maria at the candlelight midnight service. It was like a Lutheran church. And they'd have Lori come in and sing it in Latin, because I know it in Latin. I learned it from the great Beverly Sills, the opera singer. I had a record, and she sings it in Latin, so I learned it in Latin.
Right.
And I love it. It's a beautiful song. So anyway, I would sing it, and I thought, well, he's Italian, so I should probably sing the Ave Maria. So I sang it. It was very dry that day in May in Arizona. And when I came back in, I drank some water, and I had some soy nuts, and some of the soy nuts got caught in my throat, and I almost died. I choked. And after that, I felt like there's a big lump in my throat. And I could, nobody believed me. They're like, you're just tripping because you accidentally choked. I said, no, I feel like I can't swallow. So anyway, after a bunch of different doctors, one of them said, oh, you've got silent reflux, your vocal cords are burned. And so it feels like there's a lump. And so he gave me 2 medicines, and one of them helped the feeling of the lump pretty much within a couple of days. It was like, oh, okay, now I can feel like, but I was terrified. I was terrified to swallow. And I actually couldn't eat. So as I told you, I put myself on a liquid diet for 8 months because I was afraid I was going to die if I ate anything solid. It was really scary because there you got the panic thing. So while that was going on, I couldn't sing. He told me I could sing if I want. And I thought, I'm not going to fucking do that. So, anyway, about 8 months in, I thought, they've probably got to be healed by now. So I went to a different doctor, and what do you know? That guy's like, oh, those have probably been healed for about 4 months now. I said, are you serious? And he said, yeah. He said, your voice, everything's fine. I said, so he said, I said, well, I can sing then. He said, yeah. So I hadn't sang in, like 8 months. So I thought I better, I had started kind of gradually. So while I was doing that, I knew that with this mouse, the idea was I had to sing quieter than I normally do because I was building my voice back up. So this mouse is me singing in a lower register and singing about it. That's why it's called this mouse, because quiet as a mouse was what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And the idea was to just kind of, and the idea for these little songs it was never supposed to be released. It was just, I was going to make these little songs up and then just kind of get back into the creative juices, remember how to plug everything in so I can record my last song, Diamond Heart. And then somehow or another, I ended up doing that one first. That one just came to me. I was listening to a lot of Emma Ruth Rundle. I absolutely love her work. And I was listening to her very washy guitar sounds. I thought, I'm going to play some kind of Emma Ruth Rundle kind of song. And then the next thing I know, this mouse happened. And then I had to do a barium swallow, which was really fucking weird. Try this white shit. And you're like, what? And to me, it seemed like to me, it was like, you might as well have somebody shoot jizz down your throat. It's so gross. So anyway, I had to make up a song about it. And I found out what the elements are in it. And I wrote a song around it and tried to make it kind of, and I thought, I'm going to put guitar in this. I just thought, if I swallow barium, will I see God? I thought that was really kind of Marilyn Manson-esque, just kind of funny, like what a weird thing to say, like, because it felt like, I thought, what are they doing to me here with this weird white shit and what? And making sure I could swallow, which I passed the test, but it was totally horrific to do and awful and gross. And then, so I did that one. And then the fluttering was, I always thought that my heart was fluttering. Again, I have this thing about my heart. When you're a speed freak for years, as I had been, you tend to have things about your heart. You think something's wrong. Well, I've been checked, and luckily my heart is awesome. And the doctor was like, well, I guess you didn't do anything there. So, phew. But anyway, because of that, I always have this thing about my heart rate, and I don't want to hear my heartbeat when I'm sleeping. And so anyway, there would be this fluttering. And I used to think it was my heart. And then when I talked to I went to a real doctor, a cardiologist, said, you know what? He's like, he's like, first of all, your heart isn't here. It's over here. And I said, well, that's true. I do have a Grey's Anatomy book, and you're right. It isn't right here. And he's like, that's your upper sphincter. That's what's fluttering. And it's because you have silent reflux. And it's going to do this, and it's going to aspirate acid into your throat. That's what's going on. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. So then I wrote that song, The Fluttering, about that. And that was cool too, because I was like, oh, good. I'm not really losing my mind. It's not my heart rate. He's like, no, it's a totally different part of your body. I was like, oh, okay. So I was all happy about it. And it doesn't do it anymore either. It's kind of weird. But yeah, those songs were all at the same time. And then I thought I should just call these Songs of Silent, because we're in a folder called Songs of Silent Reflux. And then I thought, why don't I just put that on Bandcamp and make up
Yeah.
So the album cover is the very first night that I went on a liquid diet. That's what that is me starving to death for the first day on drinking Atkins shakes and eating softened cheese on a piece of bread that's been microwaved to almost mush. And that was what I lived on, and spinach. So,
Right. Wow.
it was horrible. Tofu was a good one because it's very easy to swallow, is another one. So yeah, but
Yeah, no, I was going to actually mention Barium Dreams. I'd like that's another one that I really like of yours.
I thought it was sort of sassy. I just came back thinking, yeah, if I swallow barium, will I see God? What, and then I just got into this thing. I heard this other musician, I can't even remember what his name is. I feel bad. But anyway, he comes out of California, and he had done a recording where he had dropped the guitar part because he thought it sounded better with just, he's an upright bass player, jazz. And so I thought, oh, why don't I do something like that where I just have a beat and then fuck any other music. And then, you know, and then that's where that happened. It just, I found a beat that worked and I thought this sounds good. And then I kind of added to it with my own mouth, the beatboxing a little bit. And then when I made the video, because I thought it'd be funny to photograph a bunch of up close pictures of my mouth, because I thought, well, that's, you know, I don't know. I just thought it was funny. And again, I wanted to make a really weird video. And so I thought, okay, that would be weird, you know, to have all these weird pictures of my mouth. With the, I think put those through tintype and maybe some silver tone and just to make them look weird. But yeah, I just thought it was funny because, like I said, it was just such the experience. The people were really nice, but it was the weirdest fucking thing you could ever imagine doing, is doing something like that when it's too early in the morning. They've made you get up at 10:30 anyway, and you already feel like shit. And then you got this going on, and they're doing, drink this, and then you got to drink this really fast, and then you got to swallow, and then they're looking at it to make sure, yeah, okay. And then if it didn't go down right, then I was going to get some other doctor. I thought, oh God, please just go down right. It did. So I was like, oh God, what? So yeah, I had to make up a song just to make it funny because it wasn't funny.
The other thing I liked was again, the more background sort of raw stuff. That was the stairwell sessions.
Yeah. See that again, that's anxiety, dude. Like my mom was working at Walmart as a greeter, and she worked 5 hours a day, and I was having horrible panic attacks, like her being gone. Like I actually don't have a trouble being alone. It's not that, it's just something about, what if, you know, I drop dead? This is before I had the doctor check me and tell me my heart's not going to explode. So I still had this idea that like I would work out and everything was fine. And then I stopped being able to like lift weights because my heart rate would be up and I wouldn't be able to make it go down because I just get panicky about it. And it just was making me nuts. So I would be sitting there thinking, what if something happens? My mom's not here, and all this crazy stuff. So, so anyway, when that happened and stuff, I was having really bad anxiety. I thought, I got to do something with this. Maybe if I sit down and play, because that always makes me feel better, that it will go away, or at least I can manage it. And so I went ahead and I started recording, and I thought, I'm just going to set my camera up and record it. And if I did a live stream, and I thought if people wanted to look, they can, they can't, I don't fucking care really, that's fine. And it was really for me anyway. And then, and I did those, and then it was like, then I got comfortable. You can, if you keep watching, you can see like the difference of the you know, it's like, okay, now I'm feeling a little better and okay. And then my mom came home, and it was like, I never even realized, I thought, why in the world did I ever feel like that? Like I was on the ceiling at the beginning, but then because I noticed, I think whatever song I start with, I think it might be Pink Moon, I can't remember, but I do know I played it too fast because I was so anxiety ridden. I was like, that's the other thing that kept happening during the recording. I noticed that if you're a professional musician, and I noticed this like with a lot of Michael Jackson things and stuff recording, that when you record things, they usually have you recorded a lot slower than it's going to be when you play live. Because when you're live, you already have that adrenaline, and it's going to be a little different. And they tend to, you know, it always seems to me like the songs on any albums tend to be slower just a little bit than live. So I kept reminding myself of that, because I only used a drum track, if you will, to play to one song. And then the other ones, I didn't do it because it didn't work for me, and I just used my natural rhythm. So I wanted to stay on track. So I would go in there all anxiety ridden, like, ah. And when I first plucked out Pink Moon, it was like, I'm like, okay, no, like, go sit down, take a breath. You're making it sound like nuclear death. Calm down, and I'd have to breathe and lay down on the floor. And then eventually I went back in there, and I'm like, okay, you just got to do it slower than you think you're supposed to. And that's the version that you got, because it's like, okay, now that's right, because it can be a little faster live. That's okay. But just, same thing with, what's the other one that was bad? The other one that's bad was Where Was My Lover? It's like ding 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 ding. Where I was like, no. It's like, this is not, no. It's like, it's supposed to be, I'm hearkening to my black roots, to my African American roots. From my father's side, I'm hearkening to the spirituals sung out in the fields. That's where that comes from, and the Crossroads and Robert Johnson and Skip James, and they're not playing fast. Don't play fast. Like, they're playing, you need to do the blues. You got to do it. You got to do it with the blues. You don't want it fast. We wanted to have some soul. So that's one of the ones where it took me 3 days to do it, because it's also very repetitive. And I kept thinking, I'd almost be done, and I fuck it up. And I was like, I didn't want to punch it in. I didn't want to go back and go, okay, well, that's okay. I'll just start right here. I was like, no, you have to do it all the way through. So it took me 3 days. I finally got it. I had these little challenges, and, because, you can do that.
I really like all of them. I think they're really good. But the two that I especially sort of like that stood out were On the Pain, I really like, and Digital Spell.
Yeah, On the Pain is very old. It's one of my oldest songs on the record. And that, again, that was right after I quit. I moved in with my mom in 2009. And I moved in with her because I injured my hand. One of my cats had accidentally hurt me. She had been caught, and when I got her, she bit me, and she bit through my knuckle.
Oh, wow.
And I had to have 2 hand surgeries. It took me 8 days in the hospital. So anyway, I couldn't really work. And the apartment complex actually got burned. Like the people stopped paying the lease, and they kicked everyone out. And I had 13 cats with me. And I said, Mom, and she's like, you can pick some cats. I said, I can't do that. So after an hour of sleeping or whatever she did, she came back and said, just come live with me. And I said, okay. And she didn't know I was a meth addict at the time. I was still smoking speed, but she didn't know that, because I'm up anyway and no one would know. So fine. But anyway, I moved in with her and my cats. And with that song, I'm obviously, you can see I'm an up person by nature. This is me normal, like up, not on anything, obviously, no caffeine, nothing. It's the Lori Bravo chemistry. So, okay. So what happened is when I work on something, like let's say I'm going to mix something, I was working with a friend of mine and we were recording together some songs that would end up on I'd Marry the Devil, actually. We would go to his house, his girlfriend's house, and play all night, because she allowed us. She had this huge house, and she's like, play all night. We don't care. She also didn't care if we did drugs. She was like, cool. So I go over there and play. We'd do meth all night. And then we would just jam and record. And then I would mix, and I'd sit on the floor and mix for hours and never move. So when I did that, I got sciatica, and I didn't know what that was, but suddenly I couldn't walk, and then thankfully I was into the internet enough to look this up and think, and I finally figured it out. And I went to my doctor. I said, I think I have something called sciatica. The doctor I had at the time, he's like, that makes sense. That why you can't. I said, I can't walk. I'm crawling to the bathroom. So he gave me some pain meds. Well, here's the thing. He didn't know I used to do heroin. So I was crushing those things and smoking them down foil by night 1. I was over there smoking Percocet. And I was like, oh no. I said, this is just because I'd quit heroin. I had been on there. I'd never shot it. I only smoked it, but I smoked it for like 5 years after my dad died. So I was already off of that and onto crystal meth when I moved in with my mom. So I said, oh man, I'm on the pain again. Oh, I'm on the pain. I was like, okay, I have it. I just sat down and wrote the whole song right there.
Yeah.
It just came like a big wave. And the whole feeling of pain meds, you feel free, like, I'm on pain meds. And I was taking them right. I mean, in other words, I never took more than I was supposed to, but I was smoking them. And I actually quit taking them. I thought, I can't do this because I'm going to end up wanting to do heroin again. And the idea of smoking, because I like smoking. I don't smoke, by the way, but I like the idea of smoking and the way it feels. So it's the addiction to the idea of it. So I thought, don't do that. So I actually quit pain meds, and I found a website with an Argentinian guy that taught me he's a doctor on YouTube, and he taught me these sciatic stretches that I do to this day. And I have not been on pain meds ever since, or anything like that. So there you go. But in the meantime, that song happened. And that's why, because I was like, I kept thinking, my God, I'm on these pain meds, and I'm like, woo,
It really sounds good played that way, played with just you on the guitar. It's just kind of.
Thank you. I thought that's how it was written. That's the thing. It's like a lot of these were just written to be like that. So I just didn't see any reason to mess with it. Like I didn't mix anything on my record. I let Apple Music mix it. I didn't mix anything, nothing. Everything's exactly how it was recorded. I didn't do anything cute. or anything. I mean, there might be a couple overdubs, yes, but I thought, why? There's nothing, like once I was done, I thought, what am I mixing? There's nothing to mix. I mean, it sounds good to me. So,
Yeah.
and then there's no one to answer to. So,
If I swallow barium, will I see God? If I swallow barium, will I see God? This reflux lady, burning, starved, shady, waking up in the presence of a barium dream. If I swallow barium, will I see God?
So the album, is that all out now, or?
no, well, okay. So Dead Ascension Records from Texas, is actually in the midst right now. Christian just contacted me. He's the label manager, and he said that the CD is it's getting done. And he just had me proofread all of the lyrics yesterday. And there, how that goes. You know how wordy of a bitch I am. So I told him, I said, look, he got all upset. Like, I'm so sorry that something's wrong. I said, no, dude, you don't understand. I said, I expected this because I won't shut up. And there's a lot of words on this. And I understand that there's going to be typos, and I understand that it's going to be okay. So he was like really happy to hear it, because he's a huge Nuclear Death fan. And my friend Noah, he was the one that turned me on, that made the Bandcamp site for me for Nuclear. He also was the one that told me, you know what, Lori, I know you're trying to hit up indie labels, but I really think you'd hit up a death metal label because they're going to be the ones to put it out. I said, you think so? Because it ain't death metal. He's like, it doesn't matter. And he was right. Because Dead Ascension is death metal. I mean, they're death metal, thrash metal, heavy metal. I mean, and then all of a sudden there's me. But he loved it. He loved the album so much. Said he was listening to it in bed with his wife, and they were just blowing away. And I thought, whoa, that sounds kind of cool. So he wanted to do it. And he's like my brother from another mother now, because we moved here, and he's in Texas. So he's like, that's our sister state. So that kind of worked. We're both Mexican. It just kind of worked. And so yeah, but yeah, it just I proofread them, and I mean, how many panels. That was the thing. I thought there is going to be so many panels, but the main thing for me is, please, it needs to be legible. That was the whole thing. There were so many bands that put out albums, and the reading, you can't read the lyrics. They're too small, or they're like white on gray or some shit. You can't read it. But with me, the lyrics are really important with this record. So I wanted people to be able to read them. And you can understand it pretty much what I say anyway, I guess, but there is some stuff you might not be able to understand. So yeah, but yeah, it is. He thinks it should be out late June. So soon.
Cool.
Yeah, so soon. And then, that when the physical CD will find, and then that will be like the official release, because that was the whole thing we were kind of going for. Like I never knew it was going to take this long to do, but he was like, things happen, blah, 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 whatever. And eventually it just happened like that. But it's okay, because it was like, I think this year I've learned all about being patient, which I have no patience whatsoever. So I'm not wired that way at all. So the idea of having to wait for something, because it's going to be great if you just wait. And then, although I mastered it myself, which first time I've ever done anything like that, so that's as good as I could do. He's also having it professionally remastered, so it's even going to be bigger and better than it was before. So that's cool. And but it's the double out. Because like I said, I didn't know. I don't think I told you, but I didn't know I was making a double record, dude. I had no idea until I looked at it. Thought, oh my god, it's like 90 minutes long. What? And then I thought, oh shit, it's a double album. Oh no, what am I gonna do? Like, I was so scared. Like, I thought, how am I gonna put this out? Like, I don't even see how that's possible. It makes sense that it took me 8 years to make another record. So that makes sense. It does. But I thought, and then luckily he was like, we can do this. And then he was trying to find jewel cases. And finally, when he told me, I said, no, no, no. I said, don't be that fucking fuck that shit. I said, those are old school. I said, don't use those. Because he's like, couldn't find me places. I said, no, no, no. I said, let's do the kind where it's like the fold out, like the cardboard shit, where it's all, it gets in. I said, like the old school kind where, you fold it out. Oh, okay. You don't mind that? No. I said, who wants a fucking jewel case anymore? Nobody. I said, not unless you buy, well, if you buy something like used from somewhere and it's all old and has a jewel case, but nobody does that shit anymore. Give me a break. So I thought, and he's like, okay, that sounds great. And of course, Moribund Records, as you know, they're re-releasing all the Nuclear Death from so he already had that worked out. So now I have this for, so I'm basically signed to 2 different labels, which I would have been happy signed to one. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I was going to say about the fact that all the Nuclear Death stuff being re-released, and that will coincide with the new album, really.
Yeah, he just wanted to do it, and he thought, let's do it from your latest to the earliest, because everybody does it the other way. And he's like, and nobody even knows these albums exist. And I said, please. So he had me do that, write liner notes. We wrote extra liner notes. I actually cataloged and archived all this. I went through my shed and went through every Nuclear Death archive I've ever had. It took me weeks and weeks to scan all of the artwork and all the stuff people have never seen. And I have like original lyrics. Apparently I ended up with everything, because I have lyric books of Phil's and everything. I don't know how, because honestly, we didn't part in good terms, but apparently I got everything. I'm really happy about that. And I'm good with it. I'm kind with it. I would never I don't care what happened to us personally. That's like archival footage for my work. So our work, and he and I both have really cool handwriting. So it's always cool to see like the real writing of the person, as opposed to printed lyrics. Is just different when you see the hand of the person that did the work or whatever, or that, or the scratched out stuff that he would write, like scratched out. Then when he would get really frustrated, he'd doodle around. We'd be sitting in our bedroom and get real stoned, and he'd be doodling until he decided on a different line. And, little just stuff that you want to see when you see stuff, archival stuff from bands, as you know.
Yeah. Absolutely. So where do you go from here? Are you going to be doing a tour with the album, or?
Well, it's kind of strange. I'd like to do that. And actually Christian, my label, the label manager from Dead Ascension, the owner, he actually tried to have me come out in February to do a showcase, but I couldn't, because not only did my cat die that month, and he died of a really horrible death, but my mom was having a lot of health problems, and my mom's been having a lot of issues. Now she's doing really well right now, but she just was hospitalized in April again for some weird thing with some blood pressure medicine that she shouldn't have been taking.
Right.
And so she kind of can't be alone. And the good news is my brother lives here. So if I were to go off for like a weekend, I can leave, he can go stay with him, and then that's okay. We've already got that worked out. But something really long, I don't know if I can do that. So my main thing is to do live streams, and of course, perform here in New Orleans, because that's what I really want to do, is play here. Here in NOLA, because, and I've already got ins with that. I met this fantastic rapper. His name's Alfred Banks. He was one of the first people I ever met here. Kindest, most generous person you'd ever meet. Fantastic musician, artist. And he immediately turned me on to Gasa Gasa. It's a really cool place here to play. And he knows the people. So he's like, when you're ready, let me know. I'll give you the information. So I do have a lot of ins, and the two radio stations here too. W2L is the college one, and WWOZ is the classic jazz and heritage station. They're world famous, and those also, I know the DJs, and it's like I've been waiting to give them my record so they can play it on air, and that's a big thing for me. But yeah, I'm not sure if it would. Definitely I feel almost like I want to be like Lingua Ignatius. She does showcases, and that's kind of where I have to do, where you do like one-offs or like a couple, but to be on a full tour, I don't think I can do it, because although my mom could, I have animals first of all, but my mom could stay with my brother. Sure. He's like 11 miles away from our house, but still it's like I live with my mom, and she kind of, she's self-sufficient to a point, but really shouldn't be alone. That's the thing. So, And it's not like it's keeping me here, but like I said, it's sort of like, well, things are things. And I think the way the music is, I think it's worthy of showcases where it's like I would fly out and do it somewhere and blah, blah, blah. And then,
Yeah.
do it that way.
I can see that.
And of course,
yeah.
live streaming. Like I told Christian, like, I'm actually planning on doing this. Like, I don't know about this week, because again, we've got a bunch of stuff with doctor stuff, but maybe next week I want to start performing live videos anyway, like on YouTube or whatever I decide to choose, whatever platform I choose that day, Facebook, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then put those out of me performing these songs here at the house, and just, hearing me again, because I have a really cool Fender acoustic. That's, I mean, the album, we'll say the amp where you can sing. It has the 2 channels. It has the one for microphones and the one for instrument.
Yeah.
So really nice setup to record and sing live. In other words, so I can sit right here in the comfort of my own home and just start performing these, because it's different now. Like when I recorded those, my voice was absolutely, I thought it was at the peak. It wasn't, because I didn't know that. So actually the songs sound better now because my voice is healed. Even though I think the vocals are great on all the songs I'm just saying. And then they've kind of taken on new lives, because I don't listen to my album often, and I don't play at all until it's time. And the reason I don't do that is because I'm afraid that I don't know if I'll get bored, but I kind of almost don't want to. It's like, no, I don't want to. And then finally, when I do, it'll be almost like a new song, and then I can approach it in a new way. Some songs are meant to just stay the way they are, but other songs take on new ways that, me just hearing it going, well, I maybe sing it a little different here or something. So, that's kind of what I want to play with when I do perform them live. But yeah, I haven't played live in front of people in a very long time. So that's kind of also to get my feet wet back, to get my, not like, I don't have like stage fright or anything, but I just mean, just get it, get that feeling back of like, okay, here's what I do. And I do this and I do that. And I tune my guitar and then, whatever, because it's just going to be me anyway. When I perform live, it's going to be me and my guitar and an amplifier and a microphone. That's it.
So what do you plan? Anything? Have you got any plans for the future, or do you just play it ear by ear and see how it goes?
Well, like I said, this album is so important to me, and it's because I've had to wait the year now to get the CD out.
Yeah.
In fact, I stopped actually promoting it on purpose, because I thought I was doing it a ton. Like when I first put it out, I put it out on my birthday last year, and I put it out on Bandcamp, and I paid to put it on TuneCore. So it was on Spotify and it's on Apple Music and all that bullshit, YouTube, blah, blah, blah. And then the idea was I just kept going and going and going. And then eventually, once me and Christian spoke and he really wanted to do it, originally it was supposed to be out in January. Okay. So I thought, well, that's not that long to wait. So I agreed to that. And then it got later and later, and then Ida happened, and that kind of topsy-turvied everybody. And then my mom didn't come out my mom didn't get out of the hospital after breaking her femur the night before Ida until late September. And then there was that whole thing of my mom and just constant was a physical therapist coming over here every day, and just everything with that and all this stuff. So everything kind of got bogged down. But then in the meantime, Christian it became, suddenly it was Christmas, and then it was January, and it still wasn't out. And I was like, where is it? He's like, well, I'm thinking of putting out. He's like, now it's going to have to be pushed to May. And I was like, oh, what? Yeah. So then because of that, I said, I'm not going to promote it anymore. I said, I'm going to stop doing that. And he's like, I think that's a good idea. I said, that way, when we put it out, it's almost like it's new again. Like, oh, wait, that's right. Lori made a record. And I also watch enough YouTube to watch people. I like people. There's one called Polyphonic Channel. He does a lot of breakdowns of bands and things, the behind the scenes. And one of the cool things I've learned about a lot of bands, like I think Journey was one of them. I was reading, or I saw one, and also Tom Petty, is a lot of these bands had albums that were reissued as their first album, but were like 2 years old before we thought they were new.
Yeah.
And they were 2 years old. So that's okay. So I thought, all right, so it's okay if this is a year old, because not many people know it's a year old. So fuck it. Yeah. And then some of those songs are old. I mean, Fry Park is 10 years old. Well, now it's 11 years old. I wrote it a long time ago when I was on meth with my friend at his girlfriend's house. And it just, showed up on my or my Facebook. I said, oh, that's a cool song. I should record that on my new record, and finally give it the justice it needs, and sing in the thirds I always wanted to sing, because I kind of had an Alice in Chains kind of influence. I always felt that Lane Staley was visiting me during that song when I wrote Fry Park, because of the way I do the vocals. So I thought, cool, maybe he'll visit. So that worked, you know, but that's what I'm saying. So I was kind of like, well, all right, I'll just do that and wait. And so that's why I haven't been. I've been kind of pretending that it's almost like doesn't exist. So when it comes out, like, I've got CDs of Bare Bones, and people be reignited again, like, oh, right, you know, because I always say that if I never write anything again, which I'm already writing, so that's, you know, this album stands up as the greatest thing I've ever recorded since the Planet Cachexia, because that is my personal favorite Nuclear Death album. That to me is like, it's our crowning achievement, is what I wanted to do with Nuclear Death, me and Steve. And then this one to me is like the best music I've ever written in my entire life. So I thought, okay, if I die tomorrow, I made the greatest music I could make at that time. And then, you know, and then in the meantime, like I said, I've already got Dominga. She's a new guitar. I got her right before I moved from Arizona, and she's tuned down to D, and she's ready for the new, whatever I do next will be a lot louder than this record. Let's put it that way. Because there's some anger going on that I have to address, but also I didn't know these two girls were going to fucking dump me. So that's going to be in there.
Yeah.
And there's some rage that I have to get through. So the next thing I do will be a lot louder and a lot heavier. But this is a heavy album. I don't care what anybody says. That's why I put Diamond Heart last. I thought, well, even if it kind of has a sort of a melancholy type of idea behind it, it's a joyous, it's a gospel song, so maybe it'll lift you up at the end of the really fucked up, because Suicide on Fentanyl is fucked up. I mean, that's a horrible, I mean, even when I sing it, I just get so angry about what I'm singing about. So it's not a happy time, you know. And then some things are just, you know, like Fry Park's about addiction as well, you know, and at that time, because I was an addict when I wrote that one. And, you know, there's just the different songs like on there, all the grief and the loss. Lay You Down in the Soil, of course, is about Footsie, my cat that died at 6 years in my arms for no reason that we'll ever know. And just, you know, just on the pain, like there's no real levity. What Do the Beautiful People Eat is about my lifelong eating disorder that I definitely conquered, but just the whole thing of me and my relationship with food, because I've always been the fat kid. So, you know, until now, but, you know, it took me, I don't know how long to get the body of my dreams, and it wasn't easy. So, you know, it's like, but, you know, it's like that kind of thing. Like, just every song is not really it's not a good time album. You know, I don't know if I put it on at a party and be like, yeah, Bare fucking Bones, man.
I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting sort of party that you put that on to.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I you know, it's not a beach record. I'm not going to go hang out at the, you know, the fucking, you know, go to the bayou and listen to Bare Bones. Probably not. Like some songs, like Where Is My Lover? I can see that one. It's blues. That kind of works and stuff. But I know it's heavy, and I know that, you know, it's not. I know I'm asking a lot of the listener. It's the other thing I realized too. I thought, are people going to listen to this? It's 90 minutes long. Is anybody going to be able to have the what is it called? The attention span to listen to something that's that long? Because a lot of people don't, you know, so sadly they don't, you know.
No, I agree.
It's
but
like,
to be honest, I think the songs are really strong, and you've got incredible tone in your voice on this album. It's the stuff I've heard.
thank you.
It just sounds so good.
Thank you. That's when I first put it out, people got not mad at me, but lots of people were messaging me going, why isn't there a CD? And I thought, people buy CDs still? All right, cool. I mean, I was kind of joking, but I thought people, it seems like nobody buys anything. So I was like, okay, well, that's why I said, well, let me see what I can do. I said, this time I thought I was going to have to buy, or I was going to be putting them out myself. That was the original idea. And then when I talked to Noah, who does the Terminus YouTube channel, and he's also a fellow musician. He was like, Lori, you're Lori Bravo of Nuclear Dust. Somebody should be doing this for you. And then of course, now we've got Dead Ascension. So, I said, oh, I never even thought of somebody doing it for me. He's like, you don't think big enough. He's like, you're you. And I was like, well, nobody's asking to do it. So, but anyway, yeah. So I'm hoping that putting the CD out, people will be like, yeah, want to listen to it and be like, oh, finally you have CDs. Because I haven't told anybody. Like, I haven't been saying. I almost did it the other night when I was saying, thanks everybody for wishing me happy birthday, blah blah blah. And I was going to say something about CD. I thought, no, shut your mouth. Just wait, because wait till you have it in your hand before you start jumping the gun. And then being like, oh, because what if something happens and it's not till July? So I thought, no, shut the fuck up, which is hard for me to do. And I said, shut up and don't say anything about anything and just wait until you've got it in your hand and you can actually say, look, it's out, here it is. Because, he followed my instructions to the letter. I always knew to want to look at, like, I did all the photography myself for the original, you've seen the cover, obviously. And that is the cover. The cover has not changed. And everything is black and white. And then when I was sending it to the couple radio stations, when I did the burned copies, when it first came out last year, I had, I realized, oh no, these don't fit on one CD. So I thought, all right, I'm going to have to make sides. So then I got the bright idea to call one side Bear and the other side Bones. I thought, well, that's kind of cool. Because I was thinking of Kiss and Kiss Alive 2. And I thought, yeah, let's just do that. Let's do side Bear, side Bones. And then everything's black and white. So I thought that works, because that's the Lori Bravo aesthetic. I'm sure that is typically, anyway, when I do my own self-portraits and all that, I just like black and white. So that kind of gives that look. I thought, okay, black and white, that works. And then so that's all. He has all that down, and that's cool. So I did all of that, and then he had me send one more photo of his choosing of one of my self-portrait series. He chose one where I'm screaming, and that's going to be like behind the CDs. And I said, yeah. I said, choose whatever one you want, because they're all good, and I don't fucking care. Do whatever you want. He said, okay, cool. And but it is the panels. That was the main thing. Like, it was just making sure that that you can read the shit, and that the side Bear is like, the side Bear panels are white writing on black, and then the side Bones panels are black writing on white. And I thought that would be cool. So, because that to me is the easiest way to read. It's like anything else. When people start being cute and putting red on gray and all this other shit, I can't fucking see shit. I have, like, as you can see, I'm wearing readers right now. I have horrible, I can't see, I can't see close unless I use readers. I also wear glasses to see far. And I don't want to be sitting there going, what, like sitting there like with a fucking magnifying glass trying to go, because lots of bands do that, man. They fucking just, they're trying to be cute. And it's like, it's not cute though. Or another one I've seen is really bad is yellow print on gray. It makes my eyes hurt. And everybody does the red and black because it looks cool, but it's not easy to read.
No.
And I wanted to make it easy because I figured there's going to be a lot of old eyes looking at this, because there's going to be a lot of old Nuclear Death fans that are my age. They're like in their 40s and 50s, and their eyes aren't the best anymore. And maybe they need some help, So I thought, and my mom too. I mean, I made this record for my mom, and she needs to see. Are you going to puke? Oh dear. No, don't do it right there though. Wait, go over here and puke. Okay, good. Oh my God. Was that you? Okay, one of them was, I couldn't tell if one was puking on one or something. There we go. Yeah, well, the mother-daughter is sleeping, and the mother's the one that has cancer, but then the daughter got up to because they're cats. So of course the daughter got up, Pippa got up, and she's going to make this sound when she's going to puke, which is kind of good. So it's a warning to everybody.
Right.
And then, but I didn't want her to throw up on her mom. I thought, get out of, they're both sleeping in the same bed. I thought, get out of there. We're going to throw up on your mom. Oh, cats, I don't know if you have any animals, but.
Yeah. We've only got one. We've only got one cat.
But right, cats equal puke. That's what they do. I mean, cats throw up hairballs. It's part of cat stuff.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, I hope everything goes well with the album, that it comes out in the right time, and the launch of it goes well, and as well as the reissue of the nuclear death stuff. I mean, that's really good to know that's coming back out. That's
yeah, because it's already out, dude. Like right now, if you go to my Nuclear Death Facebook page, there's an advert there. He's already put out Harmony Drinks Me and The Planet Cachexia. Those are out. So then the next ones are going to be the next ones. But, he put those two out. Those are out. Yeah. So they're being done. I mean, in other words, Odin's that's all going. So it's just this one's the one that's taking. And also Dead Ascension is new. They are newly formed. And I thought about going with someone that had been around a little longer, but I really he really, really loves my record. And I really like the idea of someone taking so much care, because he's working his ass off to make this like exactly the way I want it to be. So I thought, I think it's worth the wait.
Yeah, definitely.
And then it'll be out, and everybody, start doing press releases and, whatever, press kits and shit like that, or whatever. But yeah, the plan for me is to continue to make music, but really I want people to really appreciate the work that went into this. And that's why I'm trying to find time to compile everything that you're seeing on YouTube into a comprehensive DVD. I'd like people to see the behind this, because I love behind the scenes stuff, man. I just think it's the most fascinating. When I buy movie stuff, I actually rather watch the shit behind the movie than the movie itself. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's so cool, like with the commentary or the stuff that you didn't see. And this is the same thing with those videos. It's like, it's the stuff that you didn't see. Because, I tried to be as honest as I could, like I said, with the raw vocals, I thought, I don't think anyone's done that to that capacity. So, and again, I didn't want people to know what the song sounded like. It's not really what I was doing. I was like, well, I don't want people to really hear it until it's actually done.
Yeah.
I felt like it might be bad luck, but
well, I wish you all the best with everything that's going on at the moment, and I hope that you can get out there and play it live, play it to real people, and
absolutely, because I'd like to play Europe. I mean, I want to play out of country. It's not like it's not in the works, or it's not like it's impossible at all. It's just, movie, like, just got to get out there and do it, and then move on from there. I feel like I'm being guided by a higher power somehow lately. I mean, I don't know how I'm not dead with all the things that have been going on. So I figure it's okay. So I should just kind of trust the universe is telling me how to do things. If I just make sure I listen to what the universe is trying to tell me to do, instead of trying to think, like the fact that I can even be okay with taking that extra time with the album. I would never have done that 5 years ago. I'd be mad and being like, what the fuck? Why is it taking so long? I don't understand. Well, just forget it then, blah, blah, blah. But I thought, no, man, this dude is working and then whenever he sends me the stuff, it looks so cool. I'm thinking, this dude's doing this all himself. So, shut up and just wait for it to happen, because good things, I guess, do come to those who wait sometimes. I mean, I'm not used to waiting, but I think waiting is the thing to do this time.
Definitely. I think it'll be worth it.
I do too. Well, you'll hear it. I'll send you one. You'll know, and then you'll see, and it'll be cool as fuck. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for being on the show. It's been brilliant.
Thank you. It's been great. It's so fun.
It's fascinating hearing the behind the scenes stuff, and you have so much that you've done and that's gone on, and I hope you have a lot more coming as well. I hope you carry on.
Always. I can't stop writing. I mean, it's in me, but I'm already writing new material. I just don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to really, it's not that I don't want to, it's just that I'm not really pursuing as much because I want to go back and start playing these songs live. And I don't have to relearn them per se, but I do need to rehearse them a bit so I don't remember, so I don't fuck them up. Because like I said, I just started playing my guitar again, not just like last month, finally. I mean, singing, I do that all the time. That's just whatever. But playing the guitar, that's something where I was like, okay, I can finally sit down and start working, and have time to myself to do it where I can actually pay attention, because I do have a cool thing where I have this Behringer little bitty practice amp, and it has headphone jack, so I can sit there and play, and my mom can't hear it. And so good, because this is at night is usually when I'm doing this, so I can't wake her up. And again, I'm in this little bitty house now. See, in our big house in Arizona, I could play and she wouldn't hear shit. It's like I could play and sing. I mean, maybe not crank up or something to 11, but I can fucking do whatever, right?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But here,
yeah.
it's like, it's not that she would, I don't even think she'd care, but if I feel like I want to play my acoustic, I go out on the back porch, because we call it a porch over here, not a backyard. And I go out the porch and I'll play, and nobody cares, because people figure people party all, it's New Orleans. So it's like, they're like, whatever, somebody's yammering around singing, they don't care. And we're in a pretty quiet neighborhood, but I just sing quieter, like this mouse register, and just play, like I learned a new Jeff Buckley song. I'm learning it, I should say. And I just did that all on the back porch.
Yeah.
I got visited by a slug. That was kind of fun. And I got visited by our resident opossum. She lives underneath our shed, and she just had babies. So yeah, it's really weird out here in the South, dude. It's something else. It's really weird to live in a swamp.
Cool.
Very strange. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being on the
Thank
show.
you.
Everybody out there listening, I'll put links up to Laurie's YouTube channels and social media, so you can keep an eye on what's going on. Look out for the new album, and look out for any live streaming and concerts. And I hope everything goes really well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Make sure to send me your stuff so I can put it all on my platforms.
I will do that.
I'll promote it all as usual. It'll be on everything except TikTok, because I don't understand that one yet. But anyway, really? I don't understand. It's too cool. I'm not cool enough, dude. I'm too old for that shit. I don't understand. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Okay. Well, you have a good rest. What is it? What time is it there? Like 7 something in the morning? 6:30 now. Yeah. Okay. Well, you have a good morning. And I'm gonna finish my bike ride in here. I'm doing my workout. It's because I'm earning my alcohol, so I can go and drink my bourbon.
Thanks a lot, and thank you to everybody watching.
Thank you.
See you again. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Talking music with Big Andy.